Sorry about the latest cut. Thank you. My memory card in the iPhone. Anyways, here is part 3, hopefully the final part of my Coil subjective primer. So I had time to change the background music, which is electronic music from Anne Southam, Canadian composer. We're listening to the Reprieve. This was released in '83. It's not a private press, it's on... yeah, well, it's kind of is. Anyways, great electronic avant-garde album, highly recommended. Not easy to find, but you never know. So I was about to talk about, I was just telling you about this great Coil live recording. Here is the greatest Coil live recording. Came out in 2004, 1 year after it happened, and it only came out on CD but was bootlegged a few years ago, and here it is. And the ambulance died in his arms. Yeah, it's a double LP featuring Jhonn on vocals, Peter Christopherson on sequence, Tighpaulsandra on keyboards, and Tom Edwards on marimba, which are heavily featured on the track Asleep in the Marylebone Road, which is my favorite Coil track alongside Is Suicide a Solution? This was recorded April 4th, 2003 in Camber Sands during the All Tomorrow's Party festival curated by Otaker, for which I don't know, I still to this day I can't really explain how I ended up being the DJ between all the bands on stage 1, alongside my good friends Romulo and Josh from Phoenicia, Miami electronic band, still amazing to this day, and Glees also from Italy, which was also a collaborator of Phoenicia. So we ended up, the 4 of us, with the records we had on the side of the stage. Here it is. Josh, Glees and myself playing records to an audience witnessing this. Jhonn in one of his most legendary performances, as you can see. This was also the time that I got to hang out with Peter for the first time. Yes, I look very tired on this. This was just amazing. The festival had on the lineup, on the same stage Coil performed, you had Public Enemy, The Captain Before Magic Bomb, The Fall, Bernard Parmigiani, Aphex Twin, Cool Keith, Soviet France. This was just absolutely insane. I ended up on stage also doing a performance with Mira Calix and Andrea Parker, ironing before 5,000 people. Don't ask me, I really don't know what happened there, but it was such a magical time. And a year later, as an homage to Derek Jarman, Peter put together a collage of private short movies and movies from Derek Jarman's archives, and performed a soundtrack, a live soundtrack to it, which was a mix of Coil tracks from his personal project he had in Thailand, and various other things, including I believe Soy Song, another project he had with Ivan Pavlov, anyways, that was quite good, and for me it was a bit special since the performance was held at my job at the Cinémathèque, at the Vidéothèque de Paris, le Forum des Images, where I used to work in communication there, and which is how I got to hang with Peter again. Not the last time, but one of the best ones, since this is where he Christianed me. This is a joke, but kind of serious. Shortly before the performance, a new Coil recording was put up for pre-sale on their website, and the first 50 or 100 who, I don't remember exactly the number, who got the subscription would get 4 seal screened prints from the graphic scores used to the recording, which is the ANS recordings, a triple CD. This is the synthesizer used by Artemiev for his soundtrack for Solaris, the Tarkovsky movie. And well, this uses the graphic scores and through Ivan Pavlov of Son. I believe Coil got access to only one of the few still existing and functioning ANS, and recorded this. So I got it just in time for the performance, so that I could ask sleazy Peter to sign this for me, which I rarely do this kind of stuff, but Coil is a bit special, to me at least. So he asked me to whom shall I sign it, which started a conversation about me being named Christian by my parents, despite them not being Christians and me not being Christian. Therefore, he baptized me Christian, not Christian. And this has been an ongoing joke, pun, whatever, with my friends and with Peter the few times I met him again. Yeah, this was a bit funny and special. The recording of this show got released a few years later through my friend Philippe Marie of Gibert, the great record shop in Paris. The Art of Mirrors, homage to Derek Jarman. Problem is, this was recorded, I believe the source is from the audience. As I was working there, and I noticed no one was recording it, I asked the sound engineer behind the desk, who was a colleague of mine, can I plug my mini-disc recorder in there? Sure. Midway through the gig, the performance, the producer of the show noticed that, oh, this is great, we should record this, and went to the to the sound engineer and asked if there was a possibility to record this. To which he received the answer, this is already being recorded, and pointed to me. I almost got fired, to to tell you the truth. I was on thin ice because of that, but the guy had me promise that I would never broadcast it. I had a radio show back then. I'd never release it or share it with anyone, which I didn't. But the result is that you guys have access to this audience recording quality. There could have been a better way. Anyways, right before that, this was released as a CDR, then reissued as a double CD with extra material. The best Coil album, in my opinion, by far. Featuring Things We Never Had, Departed, Sex with Sandra, cover of Bam Bam's Where's Your Child. This is Black Antlers. This is an absolute wonderful gem of an album. This is Coil at their finest. Everything, ritual, industrial, ambient, dark, light, electronic, psychedelic. This is absolutely amazing, and it's just a shame it was never released on vinyl officially, but the quality is quite alright. The very last real official Coil record, the April of Naples, which got 3 LPs plus the bonus LP, which is the new Backward. Those recordings from the Backward sessions, reworked by Peter Christopherson, and of course I misspoke, not the April of Naples, the Ape of Naples, of course. In my mind, I prefer the April of Naples for some reason, but this is me. This is gorgeous. This is maybe not the most well-structured Coil album, yet it has some of the most beautiful Coil tracks. So it's an uneven album, but absolutely essential. And their last work, to be perfectly honest. A few years after Peter died, which was 2010 I believe, this was released, a compilation, Music for Death, From Circles to Square. It features the one Coil unreleased song, the Green Child alternative take, which is basically a Green Child played backwards with maybe a few edits. It's not essential, but it's fun to have. Then of course there was this, which was discussed in the comments of the first video, the TGX Desert Shore, the final report, with Peter Christopherson, Chris Carter, Cose Fanny Tutti, 75% of Robin Gristle. It also features Anthony from Anthony and the Johnson, Mark Allman, Blixa Bargeld, and a few others. I think that Danny Hyde is present in this as well. This is also quite uneven, but also features some really beauties. Danny Hyde, in the past couple of years, apart from all this material around Backward, also released this. This is a Laugh Cut, 48 copies. Coil, Where's Your Child, the Mood Change remix from Black Antlers. It's a remix he did with Peter Christopherson. Apparently, there's controversy about all this material published by Danny posthumous from the guys. I still think no one is forcing you to buy it, and it's good. So there's also an Oral Rage track, FG Nettlefold, featuring Jhonn Balance on vocals, the Subservient Revelation. This year, I believe, or at the end of last year, this was released, A Prison of Measured Time, featuring 2 Coil songs remixed by Danny Hyde, and to be honest, they are quite good. They are quite good. There's a Dark Knight mix of Heaven's Blade, and yeah, this is maybe not essential, but definitely not anecdotal, maybe, but I like it. This was released by Old Utopia Cafe, or Old Utopia Cafe. Then a few things, random things, Peter Christopherson and Jhonn. This Sion organ, it's a 7-inch from 2012, featuring Paper State, which is a track where to which Peter Christopherson provided atmospheres and field recordings. It's the A track also features manipulations and field recordings from Peter and Tighpaulsandra. This is actually really good music. I highly recommend it. It's kind of flew under the radar of most Coil fans, but this is something to investigate. In the mid-2000s came this Grief featuring Jhonn Balance, ritual side of things. It's quite good. And Jhonn was also, as we started almost the first part at one point of Zoska. This is the Rape EP, and there's another recording, but this is my favorite of the Zoska recordings, I believe. I'm not even sure Jhonn is even featured on that one. It's quite unclear to me, at least. But this is quite good, and I believe one of the commentators of the first video shown quite some love for this one. More Danny Hyde, because now we are entering Coil main collaborators output. So Danny Hyde put this 2011, 12 or something, which is Moon's Milk, the Electric Sewage, whatever it is called, the band, Electric Sewer Age. And this is the first edition, I believe, on vinyl that he self-released. 2013, I think it came out as a CD or a year before. This was supposed to be a project where Danny Hyde would collaborate with a new musician each volume. The first one supposedly is with Peter Christopherson. It certainly sounds extremely close to Coil. This was the second one of the series, Bad White Corpuscle, which was an EP originally. It's really good. It's really, really good. You can feel that this is not Coil. This is influenced by Coil, obviously. Collaborating with Coil was life-changing for Danny Hyde, but supposedly Peter Christopherson spirit inhabits these pieces, and these songs were recorded between 2006 and 2016. I believe this is a record worth to have. Earlier this year he released this one as well. This is quite good. Danny Hyde solo, Oral Rage, also featuring on a few tracks Jhonn Balance and Peter Christopherson. This was released on CD and then on vinyl in 250 copies. Not much sold out, but maybe it should. The previous one, Electronic Sewer Age, was released in a limited edition with this unreleased on vinyl, at least single, from Oral Rage. It's really good. It's Danny Hyde doing his thing. Here is a single from this band called Toys, Remember Well, with 2 Danny Hyde remixes. It's a 10 copy release edition. It's pretty good. There's other quite good, cool stuff on it. Then we come to Stephen Thrower. Cyclob, Wounded Galaxies, Tap at the World, amazing. The first single, Remember Archangels Protect Us, on Klang Gallery, amazing record. This little 7-inch called The Eclipser, which was quite amazing as well. Cyclob, you can't go wrong. I think yeah, this is the what is this one called again? Oh yeah, The Visitors. This is a great record. And finally this one, also pretty essential, We've been waiting for the new one for quite some time. Basically, Cyclob is Premier League post-industrial psychedelic music throughout. You can't go wrong with any of their records. Here's a little compilation with an unreleased Cyclob track, quite early one, I believe. On the compilation you can also find Edward Caspel, Colin Potter, The Silverman, and a few others. It's quite good. Here is Stephen Frower's first band from the early 80s, Possession. It's quite rough industrial rock on the industrial side of things. Quite unusual now. Another project from Stephen Frower, Unica Zurn, which he is doing with David Knight. This is the first self-release album. Two more came out on Touch Records. They're both really good. And there was a tape that came out on the Tapeworm, which got reissued on a Laugh Cut LP last year. Really good pressing also, or cutting, which is not always the case with Laugh Cuts in my experience. Here is a soundtrack Stephen Frower did last year, I believe. There was a limited edition of this with clothing. This is on the disco side of things, like weird psychedelic disco. It's pretty good. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Donna Summer and Patrick Coldy. More Coil related stuff. Drew McDowell. I don't have all his stuff. This is where I have a blind spot. There's a couple of records of his that on vinyl that I'm still missing, but this is the missing part of this video. But here is his Compound Eye project, which he has with, I believe, the guy from a band called, I don't remember. It's pretty cool. No, it's really good actually. This is really good. This came out on Mego Edition. It's a double LP, drone electronics, glitch, ambient, very good. There's a Laugh Cut EP that came out that was released there for a live show, 70 copies edition, the Spring Press Laugh edition of Compound Eye. To be honest, the cutting is not the greatest. It's quite noisy. So this is absolutely not a must-have, even if it's maybe desirable. Much more desirable is this other Compound Eye record, Origin of Silence. This is a record I highly recommend. I believe, I'm not sure it's Laugh Cut or proper vinyl. It's limited to 100 copies, I believe. This is really good. Kind of like what we're hearing now. More Drew McDowell solo, his first solo album on Dice, really good. Electronics, his second one, also on Dice. His third one, the third Helix, maybe the best one so far, until the fourth one, which comes out in September. Highly recommend checking it out, also on Dice. He did this little collaboration with Hiro Kone, an homage to Georges Bataille. It's uneven but quite good on the New York label Bank Records. There's another Hiro Kone release where he's featured. I have it somewhere, I couldn't find it. It's more on the synth retro side of things. It's quite good. There's this weird little Matmos EP which features a cover of Coil, Disco Hospital, and Drew McDowell actually collaborates on this. It's the California Rhinoplasty EP. Then this album by Rabbit features Drew McDowell as well. It's pretty good. Rabbit is the head of what's this label called again? I don't remember. It's a great label. Everything on this label is worth investigating. Teleplasmist, Michael York from Coil and Cyclob project. A new album of it came out a couple of months ago, and I heard a little bit of it. It was really good. This is more like psychedelic rock with drones, electronics, but it's a little bit more basically it's, I don't know if it's fair to say, but it's kind of like a Grateful Dead album by Coil in a way. This is not like that, but let's pretend it is. It's really good. Now we enter Son, C-O-H territory. Here is Vox Tinnitus, a double EP, a 7-inch from him, featuring Jhonn Balance, I believe, or Jhonn Balance and Peter Christopherson. It's pretty good. Peter had a project called Soy Song with Ivan Pavlov, C-O-H, pronounced Son, which was called Soy Song. There's a bunch of CDs, CDRs, weird releases, and then there was the vinyl release, this, which is the Soy Song EP, which is the side that Ivan did, I believe, without Peter, but this features a QR code to download the Peter side of the music. Maybe it will be released on vinyl sometime. This was a Son album with remixes, one from Drew Daniel, actually one from Drew Daniel from Atmos, but also one from Drew McDowell, and it's my favorite Son record. It's really good. It's glitchy, ambient, very beautiful soundscapes. I highly recommend it. Last year, Son did an homage album to John Everall, with whom he had started collaborating. One song here featuring Jhonn Balance. It's like old school avant electronics, very melodic and repetitive. It's pretty good. Quite fun artwork on Hologround. Hologround, who also released the this ZK album, mini album. ZK is Mark Goodwin, a guy formerly known for his IGM stuff, which he released on Smack's EP series, an offshoot of Scam, the Manchester label. But between this and this, Mark Goodwin became the mastering engineer for Coil for many of their later releases, and he deeply influenced his music, as you can hear on this, and also on this, where he collaborates with Gunner, who used to be a techno-electro artist. I don't remember the name, I have his record somewhere here, but who became one of the sound technicians at Berghain in Berlin. So there you go. This was not complete, but quite definitive Coil primer. I hope you learned a few things, spotted a few records you're curious about, and that you'll tell me all about it, and you'll tell me about all the mistakes I said and made during this video and the previous ones in the comment sections. And I'll see you soon for something else, hopefully. Bye.